Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving deep into the turbulent life of a Roman emperor, whose story is often overshadowed by his legendary father. We're talking about Constantine II, the eldest son of Constantine the Great. His reign was short, his ambition was vast, and his end was tragically abrupt. This isn't just a story about an emperor, it's a tale of family rivalry, power struggles, and a fatal mistake that reshaped the Roman Empire. So how did the promising heir to the most powerful man in the world end up dead in an ambush at just 24 years old? Let's unravel the dramatic story of Constantine II. Imagine being born the son of Constantine the Great, the man who reunified the Roman Empire and championed Christianity. That was the world Flavius Claudius Constantinus, or Constantine II, was born into. As the eldest son, the expectations were immense. From a very young age, he was groomed for power. He was given the title of Caesar when he was just a baby, a clear sign that he was destined to rule. He grew up in the shadow of his father's colossal achievements, participating in military campaigns and learning the ropes of governance from the best in the business. By the time he was a teenager, he was already leading troops on the frontiers, earning respect and experience. It seemed like he had everything going for him, a golden ticket to becoming the next great ruler of Rome. But as we'll see, a golden ticket can't protect you from ambition, jealousy, and the cutthroat politics of your own family. The year is 337 AD. Constantine the Great, the pillar of the Roman world, dies. The empire holds its breath. What happens next? Well, Constantine had a plan, or at least he thought he did. He intended for the empire to be ruled collectively by his three sons, Constantine II, Constantius II, and Constans, along with a couple of his nephews. It sounds like a decent idea on paper, a shared inheritance to prevent any single person from becoming too powerful. But in practice, it was a recipe for disaster. Almost immediately after their father's death, a bloody purge took place in Constantinople. Most of Constantine the Great's male relatives, including the nephews, who were supposed to share power, were brutally murdered by the army. While the exact orchestrator is debated by historians, the three brothers certainly benefited. The result was a new division of the empire, exclusively among them. So the Roman world was carved up like a cake. Constantine II, as the eldest, got a significant portion, the western provinces of Britain, Gaul, and Hispania. Today, that's basically the UK, France, and Spain. His younger brother, Constantius II, took the wealthy and strategic eastern provinces, including Asia Minor, Syria, and Egypt, and the youngest Constans received Italy, North Africa, and the central provinces of Illyricum. Constantine II was officially the senior emperor, the Augustus, a title that was meant to give him a degree of authority over his younger brothers. He was even made the legal guardian of the youngest, Constans, who was still just a teenager. On the surface, it looked like Constantine II had the best deal. He had seniority, a massive territory, and guardianship over his youngest brother's lands. What could possibly go wrong? Well, as it turns out, everything. The problem with dividing power is that everyone always feels like they got the short end of the stick, and Constantine II was no exception. Despite being the senior Augustus, he felt his portion of the empire didn't reflect his status. He looked east at the incredibly wealthy territories controlled by his brother Constantius II with envy, and he looked at the lands of his youngest brother, Constans, who he was supposed to be mentoring, and saw an opportunity. He believed that as the eldest and the guardian, he was entitled to more control, more territory, and more influence. He wasn't content with just ruling his own slice of the empire. He wanted to be the true successor to his father's unified legacy. This simmering resentment and ambition began to boil over. He started to see his own brothers not as partners, but as rivals standing in the way of his ultimate goal. The power struggle began almost immediately. Constantine II started making demands. He felt that since he was Constance's guardian, He should have a say in how Italy and Africa were governed. He argued that the initial division of the empire was unfair and that he deserved more land. Constans, however, was no pushover. As he came of age, he grew more assertive and had no intention of being his older brother's puppet. He began to rule his territories independently, making his own decisions and strengthening his own armies. This only infuriated Constantine II more. The letters exchanged between the brothers grew more heated, the diplomatic channels more strained. Imagine the tension. Two brothers, both with powerful Roman legions at their command, staring each other down across the Alps. The personal family drama was escalating into a full-blown political crisis that threatened to plunge the Western Empire into civil war. For 3 years, from 337 to 340 AD, this cold war between the brothers simmered. Constantine II felt increasingly disrespected and marginalized. He saw his younger brother growing more powerful and independent, and his own authority as the senior emperor eroding. He had spent his youth preparing to rule, fighting alongside his father, and now he felt cheated out of his birthright. His pride was wounded, and his ambition was unchecked. He convinced himself that he was the rightful ruler of more than just Gaul and Britain. He decided that talking was over. It was time for action. He was going to take what he believed was rightfully his by force. This decision would prove to be the biggest and last mistake of his life. He was about to gamble everything, his life, his empire, and his legacy, on a single, decisive military campaign. In the spring of 340 AD, Constantine II made his move. He gathered his legions from Gaul and marched south, crossing the Alps into Italy. His target, his own brother, Constans. His plan was to launch a surprise attack, overwhelm Constance's forces, and seize control of Italy and North Africa before his brother could even mount a proper defense. He was confident, perhaps overconfident. He was the older, more experienced commander, and he probably underestimated his younger sibling. As he marched into northern Italy, everything seemed to be going according to plan. There was little initial resistance. He was moving fast, and it felt like victory was within his grasp. He was on the verge of reuniting the Western Empire under his sole command, just like his father had done for the whole empire decades earlier. But Constans was more cunning than Constantine II gave him credit for. He wasn't in Italy when the invasion began, but his generals were. They knew they couldn't face Constantine's larger army in a pitched battle, so they decided to set a trap. As Constantine II's army advanced towards the city of Aquileia, a key strategic point in northern Italy, they were met by a small vanguard of Constance's troops. This was the bait. Believing it was just a minor skirmish, Constantine II, eager for a quick victory, personally led a small contingent of his best troops to chase them down. He rode ahead of his main army, charging recklessly after the retreating enemy. He was so focused on the chase that he didn't see what was coming. It was a classic ambush. As Constantine II and his men pursued the fleeing soldiers, they were led straight into a trap. Hidden forces, loyal to Constans, suddenly emerged from concealed positions in the woods and hills surrounding the path. They swarmed Constantine's small detachment, cutting them off from the main army. It was chaos. The emperor, the senior Augustus, the son of Constantine the Great, found himself surrounded and hopelessly outnumbered. He fought bravely, but the outcome was inevitable. In the brutal, close-quarters combat that followed, Constantine II was struck down and killed. He was just 24 years old. The ambitious emperor, who had dreamed of ruling the entire Western Roman Empire, died in a muddy field near Aquileia, the victim of his own impatience and his brother's cunning strategy. The death of Constantine II sent shockwaves through the empire. The invading army, now leaderless and demoralized, fell apart. Constans, the younger brother, was suddenly the undisputed master of the entire Western Roman Empire, from Britain to Italy to North Africa. He had not only defended his territory, but had absorbed his brother's lands without having to fight a major war. Constantine II's fatal gamble had backfired spectacularly. leading to the very outcome he had sought to prevent: the consolidation of power in the hands of one of his brothers. His death dramatically reshaped the political map of the Roman world. The balance of power had shifted, and the empire was now split between two brothers, Constantius II in the east and Constans in the west, instead of three. So why does the short, tragic story of Constantine II matter? It's a perfect case study of how internal conflict, especially family rivalry, was a recurring poison that weakened the Roman Empire from within. While external threats from barbarian tribes were always present, it was often these internal power struggles that did the most damage. The resources, manpower, and energy spent on civil wars between brothers, cousins, and rival generals could have been used to defend the frontiers and strengthen the state. Constantine II, or story, is a classic Greek tragedy played out on the Roman stage. A man of high birth, full of ambition, brought down by a fatal flaw, in his case, hubris and impatience. His quest for more power led directly to his own demise and inadvertently made his rival brother even stronger. It's a powerful reminder that in the high-stakes game of Roman politics, your biggest threat could be the person sitting next to you at the family dinner table. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this deep dive into the life and death of Constantine II as fascinating as I did. It is one of those stories that really shows the human drama behind the grand sweep of history. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss our next exploration into the past. Let me know in the comments what you think about this story of brother versus brother. Was Constantine II justified in his ambition, or was he just a reckless gambler? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.